appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it's nauseating Monday because we're going to talk about lawmakers and their pays.
You know, I've never had a response that I had yesterday from the weekend flush. I guess when you tell the truth, people get upset. Honestly, the weekend flush really had to deal with the fact that our state legislators, those people you elect to represent you in Boston, well, they did you the best service in the world, and here we go. Screw you, taxpayer!
Oh boy, that should be 500 decibels louder, and
oh yeah, no question about it.
This is just unconscionable. You know what disturbs me even more than the outrageous pay raises, which I believe that the governor said some of them got as much as $150,000 a year. More than $150,000, which makes them being paid.
The highest paid state legislature in the country.
And being paid more than our federal.
Right, and making it much as or more than our federal delegation.
But when this is what really irritates me, and I don't know about you. Look, the money is, but they don't represent anybody but themselves. It's obvious. More and more taxes, less and less service, but they got time for this. And this is a quote, and it's in big bold letters in this article too. Quote, the fair-minded people will consider the fact that the stipends for presiding officers haven't changed in 33 years, unquote, said Senate President Stan Rosenberg, Democrat Amherst, who works for the same amount 33 years later. Well, let me tell you something, President Rosenberg, that's not your salary.
That's your stipend.
You giant turd. Okay? That's a stipend. It was a stipend in addition to your pay. And by the way, in case you forgot, you voted yourself an automatic pay raise anytime you want it. So your pay has changed over the last 33 years. Now, they changed their stipends with $35,000, but guess what? Mr. Rosenberg, it wants to change his stipend.
He did change it.
Okay, he did. Okay, it's semi-official. I don't know if...
No, it has been approved. It was voted through by the House and the Senate. It was vetoed by the governor, and they immediately overrode that veto.
And it went up to $80,000.
Right.
So, hey, look, Mr. Fair-Minded Rosenberg couldn't take a $35,000 stipend. He had to get $80,000. And, of course, who was it for? The Senate President and the Speaker of the House, the two most powerful legislators in those bodies. So, I mean, forget about the other 35,000 chump change. But remember, everybody, this is in addition to their salary, which they can raise anytime they want, because they no longer have to go to the voters. They changed the law years ago after the Halloween massacre. These are the most disingenuous, half-truth-telling, manipulators of words I've ever seen. Any fair-minded person will come down here, clown, and tell somebody that's got a family of four and's trying to live on $30,000 that an $80,000 stipend in addition to your pay
is fair-minded.
Is fair-minded.
But wait, it gets better. His base salary is $62,500. So now he's getting $142,500. Wait, there's more.
Always more.
$7,200 a year for an office, which if he doesn't spend, he gets to keep. That's right. Plus, there's more.
Keep it coming.
Okay, but Rosenberg says, obviously, costs go up, and they ought to be reflected in people's salaries as well. Tell that to the poor sucker working at Walmart in Fall River.
Yep.
Tell that to the poor sucker working at Stop and Shop in Boston. Okay?
Tell that to the poor sucker who works anywhere, because how many
Right.
days do you really work?
And
How
every
many
time
hours
you
do
vote
spend?
down, the minimum wage, Senator Rosenberg, House Representative Speaker DeLeo, every time you vote down the minimum wage, remember that, because you voted yours up.
And
Gets even better.
And remember, they also voted down your lousy state tax holiday.
That's right.
Because we can't afford it. But as I said, you just said his base salary is $162,000.
142,000.
140? I thought you said 62. Okay, well, whatever.
Okay, now wait.
Close enough. Well, wait a minute. I want to ask a question.
Sure.
He said a fair-minded person wouldn't work for the same thing for 33 years. So he's telling me 33 years ago he was getting 142,000? I doubt it.
Right.
So there you go. There's their automatic pay raises. This is obscene. People, when are you going to wake up and clean the damn place out up there? Every single legislator that took this pay raise,
They all did.
person, you know, get them out. Clear
They
it
all
out.
did. Now, wait,
Let's have a purge.
But it gets better. Ways and Means Committee. You know the most powerful committee?
Yep.
They're
Always.
going to get an extra $65,000 annually on top of their $62,500. Instead of the $25,000 they get today. And then the majority and minority leaders get an extra $60,000 rather than $22,500. And the bill, which is now law, sets up a method for updating the stipends every 2 years, election cycle, in a way that correlates with overall wages in Massachusetts. This is the same method used to update rank-and-file lawmakers' base salaries, and it ensures that lawmakers are not regularly put in the politically unpopular position of voting to raise their own salaries, because on Halloween they got decimated.
Well, you know.
And they admit to it right here. They admit to it.
Well,
but here's the thing. The bill does eliminate per diem payments. Poor Michael Rogers is going to be all upset. Oh, no, wait a minute. They changed it. The lawmakers who live more than 50 miles from the State House will get $20,000 to cover all their expenses, and lawmakers who live closer would get $15,000. That's more than any of them ever took in per diem. So
listen.
about 7 times more.
Look, they insult everybody's intelligence. The fact is that the governor vetoed it. Good for him. But this is just, I mean, this is just unconscionable. And in the face of deficits, when nobody else can get raises, it kind of sounds like Fall River giving $33,000 because, you know, ratio and proportion is probably the same as 80, you know, for these guys. And, you know, this is it. Politicians have no conscience. But you know what gets me? If we said this, we would be called out. The fiscally conservative Citizens for Taxpayer Reform has criticized the proposal. Yes, you think you should criticize this? I don't know. But listen to this quote. Giving these raises in the face of a budget deficit is just not kosher. Poor choice of words when one of the guys getting a pay raise is named Rosenberg.
Yeah, that might be kind of be anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic. We'd be called anti-Semites if we made that thing. But he's right. It's not only not kosher, it's just, it is just totally unfair to the people. They have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt over and over again, going back, how many years ago was the Halloween massacre? 20?
96.
Yeah, over 20 now. So, but the fact is, the Halloween massacre way back there in the other century, when the public revolted and voted a few out, they said, we will make sure that, you know, the public never has a say in our pay raises. And again, but this is obscene. I mean, this is obscene. $80,000 because you're holding a tie. You get a gavel, you know, you get to go. The Senate's now in session. Oh, 80 grand. God forbid, you know, and here we are with people, you know, in this country. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he made a very, very good point. he talked about these people and all these pay raises and stuff like that, and he said, you know, he said, they talk about these other countries and third world countries and stuff. He said, yet we have hundreds of thousands of children going without breakfast in this country. We've got people starving. We've got people living under bridges. And, you know, and yet we give these kind of pay raises. We give out foreign aid to countries that slap us in the face. This is just, you wonder why, you know, you get angry and stay angry. I mean, every single one of these people will be gone. But you know something? Look where Senate President Rosenberg is from. Amherst.
Wow, they don't have any poverty there, do they?
Yeah, go find me somebody living under a bridge in Amherst.
Right.
Go find me somebody with an income below 6 figures in Amherst. It's not going to happen. So the moral of the story is...
There are no morals. This is Massachusetts.
Yeah, well, it's immoral, but let's put the immoral of this story is, even though it's grammatically incorrect, the immoral of this story is that, look, I can almost see him not having a clue about how the poor people, the bourgeoisie, the proletariat lives. I can see that.
Sesquipedalian words.
You know, he's a rich yuppie from a rich town.
But you know,
but when I see my state representatives,
Paul Schmidt, Alan Sylvia, Carol Fiola, and Michael Rodrigues,
and when my state senator giving themselves a pay raise and not coming out against this, when they're driving back to a city that they represent, where the average household income is about $31,000 a year for a family of 4, and an individual income somewhere around 20, and they give themselves 35 and 80,000, and they vote for these pay raises, and you're looking at people making in the vicinity of $150,000 to $200,000 for going up there, walking around the halls, and every once in a while pressing a button, yay or nay, and they get half of the year off. This is just, I mean, if this doesn't get you, if this doesn't raise your blood pressure, if this doesn't get you to the point where you want to go out and vote every single person in the state legislature out of office, I don't know what will. Frankly, I don't know. I don't know how, and of course, when did this come?
Right when a $220 million deficit.
When they're all running unopposed.
Unopposed. Now wait.
When they're all running unopposed.
Right.
It's easy.
Right. And the governor said that this is a fiscally irresponsible decision. Yep. And he vetoed it, and they still passed it. And one of our members of the state delegation said, well, one said we deserve it, another said we had to. You don't have to do anything but be, you know, to breathe and drop dead. Those are the two things you have to do. There are other comments I wanted to make, but hey.
Well, no, they do have to, because you know what?
Bob DeLeo said so.
If Bob DeLeo said to vote for it and you don't vote for it, there goes all your stipends, because he'll yank you off every committee.
And you get none of those stipends.
And you'll get none of the stipends.
That's right.
So, you know, heaven forbid we have the courage and the character to represent your own constituency and forego stipends. But no, they're not up there to represent us. They have frankly said clearly, not this one time, but I don't know how many times.
Yeah, well, you know, Charlie...
Every year they vote themselves a pay raise. They're rubbing salt in the wound. And like I said, if you show me, will you tell me the rep from Newton, the rep from Amherst, the rep from Leominster, all these rich little towns in Wellesley and all these, yeah, you know, maybe they don't, you know, they don't know how the other half lives, and they don't care how the other half lives. They don't live in our world. And you know, if you don't think there's classes and these people are monarchs, the governor of the state does not want to give them this. And they basically told the governor, screw you, governor.
That's right.
Not only the taxpayer, but screw you, governor. We run this state. You don't run this state. And we're going to give ourselves a big, fat pay raise.
Right.
And hope all the voters will now forget by the next election. And maybe again, we'll run unopposed again so we can suck up our 105,000 and in some of these places 150,000 in stipends in addition to their pay.
Well, you know, the governor sent out an email to all the state employees, and he opened it with, "Dear fellow state employees, there is an African proverb that goes something like this: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together." Nice proverb. But in this, he was talking about the shortfall in tax revenues. Okay, part of this email had been cut off because he made the type so huge. But as of today, these numbers, year over year, tax revenue is projected to grow by around $550 million. That is a pretty modest 2%. They didn't even make that this year. Why? Because the cost of taxable goods have actually gone down in Massachusetts, which decreases the tax revenues. Hence why they got rid of the tax holiday in August. Because, God forbid, the taxpayer get a break. Okay? The rest of that's all a bunch of propaganda, and I had to print it out.
Yeah, well, let's see if the people who were digging holes and for the state who've just got there, and this is another reason it segues into why they're totally oblivious to increases in health care on a GIC. You have massive increases because, look, you got a lot more co-pays, you don't care. You just gave yourself $100 grand.
Right.
So if you got $10,000 a year more co-pays, who cares? That's a pretty good deal. If I give you $10,000 and you promise to give me $100,000 every time I give you $10,000, I'll scrape up $10,000 every other week. I don't care who I got to borrow it, and I'll pay them back with a little bit of interest. So, these people have a total disregard for the working man, and it's pretty obvious. And when they come from communities like this that have little or no work, and when you do get work, you're not making for 2 years what they just gave themselves for a stipend. If you're the Senate president, I mean, they said the average household and the individual income's around 20. So that's basically the president of the Senate and the Speaker of the House just gave themselves a stipend that is equivalent to the 4 years, around 4 years worth of wages for the average individual in the city of Fall River.
And believe me, that's not skilled work.
Yeah.
That's not skilled work. That's shoveling it against the tide. Okay? I just received something from the Attorney General's office. 3 construction companies in Massachusetts have been cited more than $600,000 for failing to properly pay workers on public projects. I say this because I'm going to name the companies. All right? The company's name, the people indicted or fined are Ronan Jarvis. Ronan Jarvis did business under the name MC Star Companies, a general construction company located in Milton, Massachusetts. Now, I'm not sure, and I got to verify this. So again, this is not confirmed, but isn't Star Companies the one doing the development over at the LB File building?
I think so.
Right. So I got to confirm that.
We have to confirm it.
We're going to have to confirm that. But, this is what we're finding. They failed to pay prevailing wages to 22 employees by misclassifying the workers. What a way to, once again, screw the taxpayer. Danco Management and its owner, Daniel Tremblay, for failure to pay the prevailing wage, failure to make pay wages in a timely fashion, and failure to submit true and accurate certified payroll records. Imagine that. Companies don't do that, do they, Chip?
No.
And guess who's getting those projects? That was the Salem Fire Station, Waltham Bright School, Wakefield Housing, North Chelmsford Water, Tewksbury Housing, Chelsea Soldiers Home, Metro West Transit Authority, Salisbury Library, Reading Library, and the Salem Housing Authority. Imagine that. They're screwing the veterans again. Well, something I could never, and then of course...
They screw everybody but themselves.
That's right. And then there's R.A. Drywall. R&A Drywall, Alan S. Vitale, owner, $62,359 in restitution and penalties to pay prevailing wages and subsequent offense for failing to... See, it wasn't even his first time. This guy does it all the time. and intentional failure to pay overtime, failure to pay overtime and submit true and accurate weekly certified payroll records. These companies are just all over the place, taking your state tax dollars and saying, screw the worker, screw the taxpayer. But this just came in from the Attorney General's office. As you know, Spindle City Straight Talk gets this information in a timely fashion from all our state offices, and we bring it to you first here on Spindle City Straight Talk.
That's right. And remember, I think I'm looking.
But we're not a credible news source.
Yeah. I'm looking at the president of the Senate, Rosenberg, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at some of his statements, and you know, he will probably run unopposed in the
Of course,
because they don't care. But just in case somebody runs against him, which I doubt, because like as I said, they don't care about the poor people. I think he should bar, as long as he gives the credit to Marie Antoinette. But I've got his slogan in the next election. If somebody complains about what the kind of pay raise he had, let them eat cake.
No, they can't eat cake. It's too expensive. No, let them eat day-old donuts.
But that's what they said. You know, that's what Marie Antoinette said during the Revolution, French Revolution.
I know.
Let them eat cake. They've got no food. Let them eat cake.
That's right.
That's how out of touch they are with reality. Like you said, they can't afford it. Well, so now maybe we should change it though, so he doesn't have to give Marie Antoinette any you know, as the originator of that statement, he should say, let them eat Twinkies.
Yep.
Twinkies is still, although they may not even be able to afford Twinkies anymore.
Hey, I've got some coupons in my car for free Hostess cake, so I'll bring them up there in case they can't afford them on their $80,000 stipends.
Well, I got some news for them. I can tell you what, around the next election time, I will be posting all these bold and underlined things for anybody who wants to go and vote for state rep and state senator. I'm going to remind everybody. We'll probably throw a list of all their pay raises and everything else. So we will remind everybody, so there'll be no excuse. You won't be able to say in the next election, I forgot.
I know. Well, you know, as a result of this column, the Weekend Flush, I was invited on a news program to discuss this column. So I told them to send me a couple of dates and I'll let them know. You know, Marc Dion came out with a test to run for office in Fall River.
Marc.
You know, Marc is getting to be really good. I really want to invite him on the show one day, just to have him talk about all it. But he put in italics in the second paragraph, the mayor of Fall River becomes embroiled in a controversy including money, guns, or an FBI investigation. How do you react? This is one of the questions for the test. I'm horrified, I'm secretly pleased because I vote for the other guy, or I'm loudly pleased because I knew they were all corrupt. In this process, I'm right.
Well, I mean,
City council is involved in the scandals. How do you react? I'm saddened. This is my city. I can't wait to post a 4,000-word opinion on Facebook. I'm thrilled. If the guy steps down, maybe my 7th run for city council will be successful. Pick a name for your political blog. E pluribus unum. Do these people even know what that means?
I'm not sure.
We the people, or booga booga whack job. I like that one. I think that's the one. You are an elected official. You have a dance to get a city-state loan for your private business. You say, this looks like a conflict of interest, better stay away. Is this the most I can get, and I don't have to pay it back, right?
Yeah.
I wonder who he's talking about there. Yeah. Could it be the mayor when he was a city councilor?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's chance. That C is right up against the L. It looks like a D.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's a close election. Your opponent demands you release your tax returns for the last 5 years. How do you feel? I'm terrified. People find out I don't really own a business.
I wonder who that was directed at.
I wonder who that's directed at. I'm thrilled. My tax returns prove that I'm a successful entrepreneur. No problem. I haven't had a job in the last 5 years anyways.
That sounds like a lot of the people who are running it. So.
Yeah. You attend a candidate's fundraiser. You ask her if she'll have an open door policy, if she believes in open government, if there's an open bar. You're a city councilor and you're asked to vote on something important. You say, I need more facts, I need more time, or I need more numbers. You're a candidate. People should vote for you because I'm a veteran, I'm a mom, I'm not as bad as the other guy, as the guy who's in there now. Of course, we always hear that. You're a male city councilor under 40. How tight are your pants? A size too small, 2 sizes too small, you wear your girlfriend's pants. People who disagree with you are sheep, obstructionists, or college graduates.
We've heard B an awful lot.
I know.
Much, but
As a candidate, which are you the most familiar with? Law and order, purchase order, restraining order. Mark, you're killing me. You're killing me. I love it.
he's got to get a side job as a stand-up comedian.
He really does. Which of these things offend you most? Fake news, fake promises, a fake internet business. Even the audience in the studio control room are laughing. Come on, Mark, you're great. You really should get a show. Which of these things offend you most? Oh, I already did that one. As a voter, which is your favorite cliche? Extra points if it's not even a little bit true. I vote for the person, not the party. We will remember in November. Boston ignores us.
Except when our people get pay raises.
Except when our legislature get pay raises, yeah. As a candidate, which is your favorite cliche? Extra points, yep, okay, we already did that one. If you can get it, if you mean it. Fall River is a city of hardworking families. Together, we can move forward. It's just an investigation. I haven't been charged with anything. FBI stands for Forever Bothering Incumbents, Fiola's being inconsiderate, or fraud but illegal. And finally, and for the extra 10-point bonus, there is a drug raid on property you own. How do you react? You're sad. I try to help people get off the streets and the cops ruin everything. You're angry. Geez, I warned those drug dealers the cops were coming. Or C, you apply for a government loan to turn the building into a sober house. I wonder who that's about.
Yeah, I wonder who that one's about. Yeah, there are going to be a couple of upset politicians, but...
Guess what? Mark is speaking exactly what many of the people in Fall River are saying.
And thinking, because Mark goes to places where there are
real people.
Real people.
Right. Pubs, bars,
And they also live in
small diners.
They also live in Fall River, and they frequent places in Fall River. They don't come from out of town to get their paycheck and then bail. They're not carpetbaggers.
Exactly.
See, that's the problem.
And you know what?
The city is run fundamentally by carpetbaggers.
And this is the sad part about it. People say we're negative, we're this, we're that. Mark and I don't always agree on things, but lately we've been agreeing a lot. Mark's wife, Deb, and I go all the way back to elementary school. Pine Street School, for anybody out there who remembers it. Yay, Pine Street School! Hey, you remember the Davis School?
Oh, I do.
They hang you out the windows. They hang you out the windows by your shoelaces.
Or better known in the old days as Blackboard Jungle.
Exactly. But this is the reality of Fall River. And people don't want to understand it. People don't want to talk about it. People don't want to hear it. But you know what? I said in the Weekend Flush, is this mayor going to be able to get past all of the allegations, the questions, the investigations?
And maybe the indictment.
And maybe the indictments. I mean, and really, does he want to? He still hasn't taken his papers out as far as I know. Maybe he will be a one-term mayor. Maybe he won't be a full-term mayor. I don't know.
Well,
but, as bad as you zombies are, can you wake up and smell the cappuccino? Oh, wait a minute. This is Fall River. We can't afford cappuccino. Well, can you wake up and smell the Sanka?
But remember, Fall River is, it's amazing, but it's a microcosm of what happens. When you look at things, it's on a smaller scale, but we look at these massive pay raises, and then we look at what was proposed to the city council for other pay raises. What we are is a reflection of what we live in.
I know.
And that is a society where the taxpayers and people are not represented by the people they elected to do so. So the only recourse is for us to stay angry and get them out of office.
And stop electing people who are ripping off your pocketbook. We'll see you Wednesday.
Show me the money.